Well, on this lively chatter that we're having, very
It's
welcome to
wasted.
episode.
Are you recording? Are you
I am
recording?
recording, but
Oh,
episode
thank God for that.
106. Yeah, exactly. Fan roundtable. They just do it on their own now. No need for me anymore. The wonderful Terry from Margate, Gabs from Enfield, the man in the box in many ways, Andy Q, and the most photographed man to ever watch a Hastings game, Ben Bennett. Hello to all of you.
Hello, Chris.
Good evening, Chris.
Yeah, great.
Cheers, Chris.
Few people on the bit of time limit here, so I'm going to jump straight to Gabs because I want to ask him a couple of things. Gabs, what are we thinking about Enfield's excellent start? And then I'm going to start asking you about a little bit about the fan ownership thing. Talk about Enfield quick.
Yeah, it's been an incredible start, but at the same time, that's exactly what it is. It's a start. Played, six league games now? 6 league games. Still unbeaten, still second, breezed through the FA Cup, and we're looking really, really good. And we're playing, we're not playing anything like we did last year, which I know to a large section of the fan base and probably some opposition fans as well will come A as a great surprise and B as a very positive surprise. But no, we've hit a bit of a purple patch to start the season. Hopefully it lasts, but that remains to be seen.
Yeah, and who you got Saturday?
We have got Bognor Regis Town at home. And then we've been very lucky. We've been drawn to who's it we got at home? Felixstowe and Walton. So it's basically 3 home games on the bounce. So
we got beat by
hunkering down for the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think we play Felixstowe?
We did. We got was that the FA Vase? It was either the Vase or the trophy. Yeah. One of those. It wasn't the FA Cup. It was the Vase or the trophy. They beat us at was it 2-1 maybe?
Yes. Yeah, so you need to win at least 5 or 6-0 there for us, please, Gabs.
Yeah, we'll try. They do love a cup competition. We actually played them last year in the Velocity, I think. We went there. It's a lovely ground. They've done it up really nicely. And we won 2-1, but we made hard work in it. Like, we should have been about 4 up by half time. Yeah, decent side on their day.
Yeah, just quickly, because I know you got a little bit of time. You might be able to add a few things after we've all started talking. But I wanted to talk to you about. I just mentioned it to Andy about the fan ownership. Now, people talk about fan ownership, and I hear it and I think, oh, it sounds nice, but what is the actual reality of it at, say, Enfield?
Good question. I mean, the reality is it's basically ingrained in everything we do. In that it's sort of unusual for being, in our sense, quite usual to not have to worry about an owner or sort of who mucks in and does what, really. I mean, in its essence, you pay 20 quid for your membership annually, and that's your slice of the club. That's your sort of ownership certificate, and you get all of the kind of democratic rights that come along with that. So any kind of major decision the club votes on, whether it's to sort of install a 3G pitch or we had one to upgrade our bar facilities, I think the last AGM, and little things like that. You'll have your say, you have sort of access to meetings and things like that. But essentially, it just means that it's a club that is run sort of entirely by and for its the benefit of its members. That's not all of our match going fans. I think we got it up to about 350, 360 at the start of the season, which isn't too bad. It's about sort of 60% odd of what we usually get on a match day. But those, for those 350 odds, that's their, they can sort of say that they're owners of the club, basically.
So go on, sorry, Andy.
So it comes. I probably might ask the same as what you're thinking, given what we were talking about this, Gab, before you came on. And so 350 times 20 quid is obviously
£7 grand.
What's that? So given the value given the overall value of one of those clubs, who is there somebody who holds a controlling share who really puts some money in? Because we're just interested, because the value of a club would be more than, wouldn't it? So
yeah, absolutely.
How does that ownership model work in that context?
Yeah, it's
so. For example, if you want to buy a club off the owners, I'm sure it would cost you more than.
Depends what it is.
Big time, and it's a very valid point, and it's another very valid question. And to be honest, I mean, obviously, we'd consider ourselves sort of far more valuable than that. But to answer the question in terms of who has a controlling stake, no one does really. Every member gets one one share and one vote. I mean, when the old Enfield kind of went under, it was as a result of the chairman making promises he couldn't keep and then moving the ground. And we when we were sort of formed, when we were established in 2001, we didn't. I say we, like I was there, but you were there in spirit.
I was there in
spirit. Yeah, as a little toddler. That was essentially the aim. I mean, our income is essentially, as it would be probably, I imagine sort of before kind of big ownership, which is kind of sponsors, obviously gate receipts, membership, and individual donations. We don't really have sometimes to our detriment, sometimes to our benefit, but we don't have a backer, if you like. We don't have a sugar daddy. But in a way that's it's quite a nice thing. It means you have a very clear conscience whenever you're spending money around the club and whenever you kind of come through the turnstiles.
Yeah, it's just interesting, isn't it? Because if you went up to, suppose your season continued and you went up to National League South, and then your wage bill goes up, your travel bill goes up, and some local businessman says, Absolutely. Right, I'll offer all of you £1,000 each for your 20 quid share or whatever. I'm just wondering, it's an interesting thing as to how that works once the club starts. Is it sustainable? Is it sort of, can you grow it with that model? That's the quite interesting conundrum, isn't it?
Massively. And it's one we've had to ask ourselves a few times, but that ethos is very much, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a very romantic one. From a personal point of view, it's one that I really love. And I want to change. But I know that very legitimately, we've had fans basically saying how long can it last? And if hypothetically we were to reach those levels, it would be something we'd have to consider. But just from my point of view, I really like the way it is.
I understand that. I guess you'd put the promotion in nice problem to have territory, I guess, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
for sure. But it's a problem. It's a problem we desperately want, though.
Yeah. So sorry, I didn't want to put you on the spot. It was in my head. I was just wondering, because a lot of people talk about fan ownership, and I haven't got a clue.
Yeah, I didn't have any idea of how it worked. It's the sort of thing that we've talked about. At our club, we've got a billionaire owner, and a lot of fans are frustrated because he's not putting the money in that they think he should. I mean, he's basically bought the club, bought the ground off the council, so we don't have to worry about the council being their usual selves. And it's one of those things. All the fans are going, "Oh, why can't we do this? Why can't we do that? The owner should be doing this. The owner should be doing that." And it's like that's a sort of the supporters club do a lot of the things like we put money into it. But if we were to sort of expand that into like you say, 20 quid a year, and be able to put into how the club's run, I think a lot of fans would be more into that, because they're not happy with the fact that our owner's a bit tight because he won't spend out. But then he's also keeping us solvent. It's like we're not living beyond our means. Yeah. So it's like it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other, the way it is. But it's a really interesting, because I didn't know anything about it, and the way you've said through there, it's like, oh yeah, that's something that you could like put to the other club. Well, if you're that worried about how the club's being run, why don't you do this then?
I guess the fact that Enfield ceased to exist makes it easier to go straight from a sort of ground zero fan ownership model, rather than having to find the money. Because if you had to find the money to buy the club off your owner, who owns the ground as well, it's a different world, isn't it?
Exactly, and we were the first to do it as well. We set that template for Wimbledon and the rest. So
that's great. It's great. It's working for you.
Pioneers.
Absolutely. Actually, it's another reason why we can kind of ourselves as Enfield Town, we can kind of take a little bit of pride in that.
Yeah,
it's another kind of pro rather than the cons of if we were to come on.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about the other Enfield Town, do we? No,
there's only one Enfield Town.
But so
Enfield.
Yeah, so Terry was speaking there. Terry, he might dip into his pocket, because this could possibly be a promotion season. You started off strongly, a few
we had a bit
results.
Bad bank holiday weekend, but we're back on it now. So.
And you're on to Cup glory against Folkestone now, yeah? That should be a tasty
didn't
game.
go so well last weekend, so we're hoping that we can just pick up, and it was just a bit of a hiccup, and hopefully we can keep the momentum going now, because the first half on Saturday wasn't particularly good, and we're all like, oh god, here we go again, like. And then second half, 3 goals in 7 minutes. You know, it was like cardio workout.
Well, talking about that, tell everyone what happened to you. You actually stopped a game, didn't you?
Oh god,
Go on.
yeah. Well, I thought Steve Cawley's shot was going to go in the goal, and it didn't. And it dinged me straight upside the head. And the ref stopped the game, and our physio had to come over and give me a little bit of treatment, because I was sitting on the floor watching the Tweety birds go around my head.
But Terry,
classic non-league injury.
Yeah,
you handed your beer.
6 minutes of added time, and 2 of them were mine.
Tell him about you handed your beer to the person next to you, and then went down.
The chap standing next to me was our media guy, and I was like, "Can you just take that for me? I'm going to sit down." And this handed over my beer and stand on the floor.
Yeah, priorities.
You can't be wasting your drinking. No,
you can't. No, what a waste.
Presence of mind.
Well, talking of FA Cup, the one person on this panel that went to the game at Erith, Ben, you want to give us the lowdown on the draw at Erith?
Very hot, too hot probably. The game was kind of played. It wasn't fast and frantic. It was not how we've been playing. We've been playing with a lot of energy, and I think the conditions played a part in that. I think, but we had a lot of 2 or 3 really good chances. We've definitely been putting away recently. We had a good bit of possession. They had a couple of little breaks that Charlie Granger made a good save towards the end, actually, about a few minutes from full time. It was could have ended up even worse, but yeah, it was if we probably could have had 4 or 5 over there. We probably could have conceded a couple, but we should have got through it yesterday. But we have to do it again on Wednesday. But yeah, still a good little away trip. Yeah, it was obviously played at Welling because the ground share with them. So yeah, there wasn't a huge crowd there. There's quite a few from Hastings, probably more from Hastings than there was then. But yeah.
But what about one of our old boys? Finn Amara was playing, and with a magnificent mane of hair now. And did he have a good game?
He did, actually. Yeah. You probably would have sensed that anyway. He was going to turn up against us, wasn't he? But he done all right. Femi did have a 1-on-1, which he should have scored. He got through the back line in first half, which has been put away. But other than that, I think Finn had a decent game. Apart from his hair, it was decent.
Well, we've had a good start to the season. You know, I don't mind a draw away in a cup, bring them back home and win. Yeah, get an average performance out of the way. You know, I'm not.
I think it's a bit deflating yesterday, because you go and then you think, oh, we probably could have won that 4-5. We probably should have done in the end. But yeah, at least we're still in the hat. We probably could have, like I say, been at the other end of a poor result at the end there. But yeah, we've got to do it again on Wednesday now, I suppose.
Yeah. Okay.
But I can't see why we shouldn't. By what I saw of Erith, we should get a few past them on Wednesday night. I think there wasn't enough to me that they're going to be a huge threat, apart from the couple of chances they had. We'll probably step it up a little bit, but yeah. I can't see us not progressing. That's for sure.
We've got when we win, let's be confident. When we win, we got Dorking away, isn't it?
Dover.
Is it Dover?
Dover.
Yeah, Dover.
It's got a D in it.
You can go and
Dover,
tear
that's
them
a
a new one
toughie.
for us. Sorry?
It's got a D in it. I got close enough.
Where did you get Dorking from? Seriously,
I don't know. I don't.
It's been all over the chat all day, Dover. The draw's been on.
I'm never on that chat. I'm never on that chat.
You are, because you spend most of the chat rowing with Nick.
No, I get abuse. Just quickly as a sidebar. The one, right, Ben, who's the one that gets all the abuse on the chat? It's me, isn't it?
Yeah, because you know why? Because you bite at every opportunity.
Nah, I don't. I'm not easily wound up.
Yeah, I think you've got a big competition with you and Dane. Actually, I think there's definitely up there with the biggest biters in the club.
Yeah, it is. They do.
Yeah.
That Nick, he's a champion. He's a true champion of.
Mate, anybody can wind you up, not just Nick. Well, anyway.
Yeah, and honourable shout to Keith Wareham, always doing God's work on Twitter. Just thought I'd add that.
Man's relentless.
He's just sunshine on a rainy day, that bloke,
Yeah.
isn't he?
I do have to say though that that young lady who he replied to on Twitter today, obviously in the interest of research, I had a look at her Twitter thread,
Yeah.
and it's interesting. I would describe her camera angles as consistent. She just seems to put out the same photo every other day.
Doesn't stop
Maybe,
Keith Wareham. I mean,
maybe that's what her fans have.
Yeah.
Maybe she's decided that's the angle that does it. But they're just
yeah.
How he ended up involved.
He is a legend. He's a legend.
He's one of our own. He's one of our own. We haven't got many one of our owns anymore, but Keith Wareham is definitely one of our own. As a sidebar,
Gabs, my eyes.
Well, no, actually, Andy, I've not spoke. Look, how do you feel early doors? How's it going in the box? Obviously, you've been putting some great music out there, great eclectic mix, definitely. And I'm not taking a piss there. There's some good stuff you've been putting out. What's the reaction been like? And
yeah, the feedback is still quite good. It's very interesting, actually. The feedback that we get is nearly always from people over the age of 40. There's quite an interesting divide in the levels of interest in music and that in the generations. That's one of the biggest factors. I'm constantly being collared. Lord Vernon Couchman collared me the other week at the ladies' game and insisted on giving me a load of tracks and that sort of thing. Obviously, it's interesting how obviously Pat McCrossan, all of the people of that generation, they're the ones who show the most interest in the music side of it. James Hopkins, who does a lot of the commercial stuff now, all those people, he's probably about the youngest person and he must be getting on for 40, who gives regular feedback on it. But it's interesting. That's one of the interesting things, actually, the generational divide in the levels of interest in music. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
but it's quite good fun. I mean, that Easter weekend, August Bank Holiday weekend was quite interesting with the just playing a bit of local music, and then just out of the blue, the Kid Capici thing cropped up on the Monday because they'd done their video at the ground, and I mean that was interesting. I mean, just interested in the fact that I had a copy of their single on my laptop 2 days before it was played on Radio 1. So that just shows an interesting sort of bit of reach there, has to be said.
Has anyone heard of Kid Capici outside of
the only reason I have is because of this podcast. That's not
right.
That's not me wanting to buy you lot of fibre.
No, I'll get nothing from no one, mate. All I get is stick. One of the things I must add is I have put a song request in as Matt Longhurst, who's the manager of Irif now. He used to be manager of Ramsgate. I've always thought he looked like the lead singer of Brother Beyond. So I have put a request for The Harder I Try by Brother Beyond for Wednesday. I won't be there, though, to hear it or to hear the booze.
You won't be. Well, do you want me to knock it back to Saturday?
Well, he won't be there, will he? It's just because I have said to Matt that he looks like the lead singer of Brother Beyond. So,
but will he? Is it more important that he hears it or you hear it?
I don't know. He'd just probably ignore it, and he's probably forgotten who I am. So
I can always knock it back to Saturday just for your own listening pleasure.
Why not? I'll get more booze. Anyway.
Andy, I'd like to put in a request actually, because obviously we've got loads of songs, player songs, club songs, or anything like that. Maybe we at the end of the game, if we get a good win and a certain player scored a goal, play the tune to that player and things like that. I think you did one game, didn't you?
Well, I did. I played Come On Feel the Noise on Saturday or Monday.
That was good. Yeah, I remember that.
Gabe's going
Yeah, exactly. A popular beat combo from the 1970s, Slade.
Yeah, we get George to send you some of the songs so you know which ones that we sing, because you might, to be honest, that's not, you might not hear it. It might not be.
Yeah, it depends. I've played Just Can't Get Enough a couple of times as well at the end of the game. So things like that. So, yeah, absolutely. I'm always open to sensible suggestions. I mean, we sort of started getting a bit of a pattern now that I play records about 2:00 to 2:15 because there's hardly anyone there. I play records just for my own gratification, really.
Well, when we come down to you, anything from like
Cousin
80s
Dave.
heavy rock, I'm down for that. Yeah, so
Yeah, I do tend to, then you get the sort of more modern top 40 dancey playlist between 2:15 and 2:45 during warm-up time. And then I've tended to tend to play the heavier stuff in the run to kick off. So I'm always game for that. We've had Iron Maiden.
yeah, I'm down for that.
I did play Arcade Fire as well, Chris, last weekend. And anything like that, any 80s. I found a great sort of obscure bit of 80s hair metal that Vernon Couchman recommended to me. So anything of that sort of nature in the run up to kickoff, we tend to turn it up a bit.
Decent. Are You Being Served as well? We put Are You Being Served on?
We have played Are You Being Served theme tune as well. Yes.
So did you play Status Quo last year?
I did play. Oh. I played Deeper and Down. I think.
Yeah,
Deeper and Down. I played. And the Ramones, anything like that, all that sort of stuff is sort of bang on for the 15 minutes to kick off.
Yeah, so anyone listening, he puts a playlist out before every game, don't you?
What I tend to do now is I put it out after the game on Spotify, purely because sometimes if you suddenly get someone who runs into the box and says we're doing this before kickoff or this or that before kick, then it gets hacked around. And also what I do is I hack out all the regulars like Sussex by the Sea and I just hack all those sort of things out and then publish the songs. So yeah, tend to, on the day after, I always publish the playlist on Spotify.
Okay, yeah. So are you playing any music at Enfield yet? I'm sure you said you might try, Gab.
I did, and I haven't got anywhere yet. I think that I need to have a chat with Andy, who's on the PA system at town, about expanding our repertoire. I think because it's somewhat bare at the moment. We don't even have discussions about it.
You need a little bit of a popular uprising there. Take the box.
There you go. That's the next item for discussion. That's the next item for discussion.
Yeah, get that on the agenda in the next meeting.
I've got actually quick thing for Gab. Actually, I don't know if he knows him, but he's was one of the biggest Arsenal fans there is. John Williamson. He's from Enfield way. I don't know if you know him. He's a big Arsenal fan. He's probably I would like to say he's probably about 60s or something, but he's Enfield way. But he goes everywhere, like the women's game. I don't know if he goes to the women's. He goes to the under 23s, under 18s. He goes to America. All like goes every game. He's been on Sky Sports a couple of times for a couple of interviews, but he's Enfield way. But I think when Arsenal don't play, he does pop along. So John Williamson. He's legendary Arsenal. He's a legend at Arsenal.
Ben, does he do Arsenal Fan TV?
No, he wouldn't go near that, mate. No, only idiots go on there.
I love riling him up. I'll tell you what, they viscerally hate Arsenal Fan TV. Like, to me, that is pure entertainment.
Yeah,
look at him.
For every other club, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with Ben on that one. Can't stand it.
No, I do. Okay, it's only to wind him up.
It doesn't wind me up. I'm not like you.
No, of course you're not. Of course
you get wound up so easily. I'm not like you. I just let it go from my head.
The worst thing is that
Margate used to be the nursery club for Arsenal in the 20s.
Wow.
I'll have to dig out one of the programs, 20s and 30s. They used to say who was coming down, and how old they were and where they were staying and if they'd had an injury or anything. So basically, they used to come down to us, almost like a reserves. When you're getting players back into it after they've been injured or if they're coming up through the youth section, and they used to send them down to us in the 20s and 30s before they went back to the main club.
Oh, interesting.
I'll have to dig out the program that's got all the details on it.
Yeah, good. That'd be good.
Right, quickly, Terry. Yeah. When we've got you in October.
Tuesday night, anyway.
Tuesday the 24th.
Tuesday, but that is half term, so there is the potential of I might bring the kids down, might stay for a couple of days. So there's potential of doing something nice there. I'm sure there's lots to do in Margate in an October time, isn't there?
Yeah, there should be a couple of bits and pieces still open. If the weather's good, they tend to be, especially with it being half term. We might be all right. You never know what the weather's doing at the moment. So
try and drag a load of us because we're going Bognor. Actually, Gabs, we've got you November. Is it November
18th?
December?
I just checked. November the 18th.
Yeah,
that's my birthday.
All right. So obviously the Hastings are going to win for Terry. But what What at your ground or ours?
We host you lot in November, and then we go to you lot in April 20th.
Or not? And that's
Which
a
is our last
Saturday,
away
isn't
trip.
it?
That's a Saturday.
Oh, good. No,
Top of the table clash,
sum up,
that'll be in April, won't it?
Yeah, hopefully one of us will have gone up by then, and the other one will be sitting nicely in second.
Yeah. But just
I'm fairly optimistic that it might be a top of the table clash by then. Actually, it seems to have bedded in quite nicely. You can never
the
be
rate
sure.
you're going, it's all right.
Yeah, can't argue with results, can you? I mean, unbeaten.
Yeah, the bank holiday weekend was good. Very, very, very positive.
But probably what's probably good in a way that we're not. It's never good to draw, but it's kind of like a little bit of don't get too carried away yesterday.
100%.
Like there is obviously issues there. Obviously we are going to get better. But yeah,
I got murdered in the chat when I said that. Where was everyone in my defence?
I'm not defending.
No, you're not defending me. I know you ain't. No one defends me. Go on.
I don't defend you, no. But sometimes it's quite good. It's just because it's a new team and everything else. You don't want to get too carried away too quickly. So yeah, see what happens on Wednesday. See what the response is like.
If it's any solace, Chris, when we drew at Harringay on Bank Holiday Monday, we had the exact same reaction. Yeah. We are like, it's a it's just a reality check. It's nothing more, nothing less.
It's not really a reality check, but it's just like because it's a new team and it's been a really good buzz. But it's nice to have like a not a reality check, but something that
grounding
you can only build on.
Yeah, grounding.
I like that. Grounding sounds good.
And it gives everybody an opportunity for a home. At least it is a home FA Cup game, despite the unbelievable run of away ties that we seem to have had over the past few years. So it is a game at home. Hopefully get a good few people.
The weather's to be good anyway. It should be scorching.
It'll be a beautiful evening.
Well up there.
Yeah, beautiful evening. So yeah, quite looking forward to that.
I'm hoping myself, Freddie Leg gets some minutes because we've got a game Wednesday, Saturday. Please, yeah, I'd like to see.
He got a few more yesterday. Got a few more than he has done. He looks sharp enough.
Yeah, like Wareham, he's one of our own.
He is.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's quite good. We do have, I think, the Radari and Adam coming back has made for. It was almost like either it was a genius piece of recruitment or an unbelievably fortuitous occurrence, them coming back. Probably a combination of the two, I expect. Because that's given that sort of local angle. So if you see all the pictures of the kids with Radari over the weekend and that sort of thing is brilliant. And you can see the bonds that are being built. And also they've come back and they're playing very well as well. And that combined with the London players and that, it makes for quite a nice, exciting mix for people with that bit of local interest as well. And with Tom coming back from injury and Freddie and that.
JJ Walker.
JJ was superb in that game. He made that one mistake early on, and the best thing about it was it didn't phase him at all. He just carried on and got better throughout the game, and that was really nice. So it's it's proved to be a really good mix. Hope it continues.
But yeah, that's the thing with Hastings. We've always had the core of local players, haven't we? And we was kind of a bit worried at one point there where we was going to be left with maybe one with Freddie, and almost that was it. But it's quite nice that 2 or 3 have been added along with JJ as well. And I thought, Adam Lovett was probably my man of the match yesterday. I thought he was really, really good. And of course he did
every game.
He didn't have a pre-season, did he? So he's growing every game. Yeah,
he's a bit ropey, bit rough that first friendly when he played a half, and then you could almost just see the increase in his speed.
Game by game, got sharper and sharper.
Yeah, it's really good, really good. And watching Radari, when Akoi was going forward at the weekend, it was really interesting seeing David fitting in behind him. When he went forward, we could see from where we were that David was slipping back in to cover for him when he went forward, which was just like watching a different player. Just so much more mature. So much more mature. And it was brilliant. That was a really quite, because we were watching, obviously we've got that such a good view up there, just saying, hang on, he's tucking in when the right back goes forward. And that just, you thought, wow, that just shows that he's really moved on as a player. There's something as simple as that, let alone the goals.
It's all about
he's finishing things now as well.
Right then.
Yeah, it's all good.
All good. Well, it's all good with everyone. Margate, Enfield on their cup run. We're obviously, we're winning. We're winning. So we will see you in the next round, hopefully.
It's quite nice. I've actually got a fairly cheerful cheerful quorum, haven't we, at the moment? Be interested to see
We've
how
not
it
even
ebbs
talked
and
about the new
flows.
ownership. We could do that another time. But what do you want to quickly mention something about the Whites, Ben?
Can do for a minute. Yeah. Well, it was.
Good.
Well, the timing of it was brilliant, was it? Because it was just before Dulwich Hamlet. The three of us, me, you, and Matt, wasn't even probably going. And then
yeah, we were a bit.
The announcement at 2:00 on the Friday was like, "Wow, how tempted are we?" And we got on the train and went up. But it was just that extra buzz, wasn't it? It was the change that was needed, just to freshen up, wasn't it? It was all a bit stale, and there was a lot of toxic about a little bit last season, but it's brought a lot of people together. It's brought the fan base a lot closer, I think.
Yeah,
and if they can't be any more Hastings through and through than the Whites, really, can you? Dean obviously manager, and Ben was a player when I was playing years ago, and I know them very well, and the club is at heart, and it's great. It's really, really good news, and hopefully the council will work with them. Yeah. I'm sure they will.
Yeah, I mean, I've already bumped into Ben knocking around downstairs, and just silly little things like he's just already got himself involved with the organisation on match day, and got a grip of things like team sheets and things like that, which had really, it sounds really trivial, but when you're doing the announcing on a match day, you know, just getting hold of the teams and things like that, you just don't need that stress. And you can just see those little bits of admin being put in place, just getting everything a little bit tighter, and just a really positive influence out the back, and silly little things like that. You take care of the boring stuff like that, and then the good stuff can follow from there. And that's a really good way. You know, you get all that stuff nailed down, and then all the players have to worry about, all anyone else have to worry about is playing, and just take all that stress away from everybody. And yeah, even something as trivial as the team sheet immediately being available now that lot have got a hold of it is a small example, but a really good example of just their positive influence.
But it's all about talking. It's all about communication. It's all about their connection with it, because they know everybody as well, which makes it a lot easier. Whether someone like me that's known them for so many years, but a lot of people know them. Like I say, they're Hastings through and through. Even the things like you could actually they'll talk to you, and I've already spoken to them, and they're all want the fans' ideas. If they've got any ideas, to email them even directly and things like that. We wouldn't have had that with the other owners. We didn't have that connection with them. What we're gonna have now, and it's a huge thing.
100%
positive.
Yeah, I was down there a few days ago. They printed off a load of fixture posters to put around the town, which is something that obviously we haven't really been doing. So I was having a chat with Ben, and he's lovely, you know, and he wasn't abusive like everyone else is to me. He was really nice to me. So I love him.
That'll change.
That'll change, obviously. If he hears this, yeah, I'm getting it. But
what did you do?
Huh?
Did you slip him a fiver in his pocket?
Thought you was going to say something else then.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
Exactly, Terry. Exactly.
Anyway, we've got the Orr grocer on board for a fixtures poster, Chris. So we're going to drop him in at our local grocer. So I said to James, I said, you know, why don't you ask for people to see if they can take a couple of posters and get one of their local shops or something like that to display it, and just a few people dishing out those posters will add up to quite a few posters if they can just get their local shop to display it or something. So
yeah, no, I was down the old town.
Need to expand that a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's exactly.
Chris, did you actually say that you'll only deliver the posters and put the posters up if you get your green arm in?
Yeah, it is. But right, just quickly,
is that sneaked in the bottom there?
Every time his big head gets in the way, Ben, and I get pushed aside, and you're just every picture you just see a bit of an arm of me where I've been pushed aside because Scott White is involved with a conspiracy with Ben about this, but I'm not one for conspiracies though. Good
job anyway, Chris. I'll say it's a good job you put them posters up. You've taken one for the team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, love you all. Terry from Margate, Gabs from Enfield, Andy, Ben, thanks very much for your time, and I will see you at the game.
Yeah, see you Saturday.
See you guys.
That's what we try.